Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Noah here from 6Flow Automations, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to allow your AI voice agent to book meetings with multi-duration capabilities using Retell AI, N8N, and Cal.com. This means that your AI voice agent will be able to book different types of meetings where each meeting will have different durations. This is super useful for businesses that offer many services for which each service will have a different meeting length. As always, if you guys like learning voice agent tips like this, or you're feeling generous today, hit that like button, drop a sub, and let's jump right into it. All right, guys. So like I said, we're going to be using Retell AI as our voice agent platform. We're going to be using Cal.com as the platform that allows us to book meetings and integrate that with Retell AI. And then we'll be using N8N as our backend automation platform. That being said, if you've yet to learn the basics of how to set up your voice agents to actually book meetings in general, I suggest checking out my earlier video where I break down exactly how to connect Retell AI and Cal.com, because I'm not going to be going over the very basics of these platforms. And for those of you who are interested, I'll link the video up above. Moving on, we're first going to start off with setting up our Cal event that will later integrate with the two other platforms to allow us to book the meetings. So head over to cal.com, log into your account, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new event by hitting the new button in the top right corner. I'll just give this a quick name, YouTube demo, and then I'll press continue. Right, so off the bat, you can see the standard duration of each meeting is going to be 15 minutes. Of course, you can switch this, but that just means that every meeting that is going to be booked with this event is going to be that exact duration. But like I said in the intro of this video, we want the agent to be able to book multiple types of durations. So what we're going to do is simply toggle on allow multiple durations. Now here is where you can select the types of durations you want to include. And of course, there is a bunch to choose from, but because this is a demo, I'm just going to go with two. We'll set a 15-minute duration and a 30-minute duration. Now, Cal.com also requires you to set a default duration if it doesn't receive any variable called length in minutes, because that's what's giving Cal the information to determine which available duration to choose. All right, so once you have the duration set up, you can go ahead and change the location if you want. You can change your availabilities, your limits, and all that stuff. If you want to learn more about that, again, go check out my other video where I break all this down. But that is essentially all we need to do in Cal.com. So we'll go ahead and press save. And the next platform we're going to head into is Retell AI. All right, so for the sake of this video, I had Claude whip up a quick universal prompt for this voice agent, and it's going to be based on our company, 6Flow Automations, where we offer two different types of services. One is a simple voice agent installation and build for businesses, and the other is a full AI consultation of the businesses. The AI voice agent setup is going to be a 15-minute meeting duration, and the AI consultation will be a 30-minute. So let me go ahead and paste that prompt in here. Now that we have a general prompt to work with, the main focus of this video is going to be setting up the function that allows us to book the meeting on the calendar. So as you can see here, Retell has native integration with Cal.com that allows you to check availability and book on the calendar. But there's a big problem with using these functions. If I go ahead and hit on book on the calendar, you can see that the only options we're given are entering the API key and the event type ID. This means that Retell AI and Cal.com are only able to communicate specific pieces of information which do not include the duration length. So by using these built-in functions, we are restricted to only sticking to the default duration of the meeting. So for those of you who need to book meetings that have multiple durations, we're going to have to use a custom function. However, before we jump into creating the custom function, we can still go ahead and use a check availability function to allow the agent to still check your calendar and make sure that you have open slots for when the user wants to book a meeting. So to do that, we're going to hit the add button, and we will just add the native integrated check calendar availability function. And as you see, again, we need to add our API key and our event type ID from Cal. So let's go ahead and do that. Back in cal.com, you will see a 7-digit number in the URL. That is going to be your event ID. You can go ahead and copy that and paste it under your event type ID. And to get the API key, you go back into Cal, we'll go over to settings, and then we will hit on API keys. Now you can go ahead and add a new key, give it a name, and then press save and just copy this key right here. And we'll go back into Retell AI and paste it right there. You also do want to make sure you're on the correct time zone. For me, that's going to be Toronto. So I'm just going to type in Toronto, and then we'll press save. Great. So now the agent is going to be able to check your calendar to make sure you have open slots for when the user wants to book a meeting. And to make sure that the AI agent is going to be checking the correct calendar, we can head back into cal.com, enter the event that you just created, and then we will go under the advanced section. Now, right now, mine is connected to my Google Calendar. If I wanted to connect it to my Outlook or my Apple Calendar, I would just simply install those extensions and then switch over to that calendar. And if you want to know how to do that, go back and check out that other video where I break it down. The other thing to note is if you wanted to use Google Calendar, let's say, but you wanted to use a different event type, then we can switch the using blank setting to event type, and then you can toggle on whichever one you want to use. So now that that's set up, let's head back into Retell AI so we can start setting up the custom function. To add a custom function in Retell AI, you're just going to hit the add button, and then we'll hit on custom function at the very bottom. And you can see there's a lot of information we need to fill out. All right, so you can see I filled out the name and the description. These are pretty basic, just letting the agent know when to use this function and giving it a name. The next thing we need to do is add in our webhook URL that is going to allow this custom function to call on our N8N automation to perform any extra action that it needs to do. So that being said, let's head into N8N, go ahead and create a new workflow, and we're going to start by adding the webhook trigger. Once you got that added, let's switch the HTTP method to post. Then we'll hit on production URL and we'll go ahead and copy this URL. We'll head back into Retell AI and we'll paste that URL right here. Awesome. Now the final thing we need to do is configure the parameters in JSON format so that the agent knows which information it needs to collect, and then use the custom function to send all that information with specific variable names to N8N to perform further actions. So I'm not going to sit here and type out the entire JSON schema right now. I will, however, paste this down below in the description for you guys to simply copy and paste into your custom function. But to give you a brief overview of how this works, we are collecting specific properties or variables like conversation summary, the meeting duration, the user's email, their name, the meeting start time, and stuff like that. And then you can see the required return fields are going to be those 5 that I just listed. So these are going to be the variable names and the information that is getting passed from this custom function in Retell AI to N8N. Now that we have the custom function set up, go ahead and press save, and we're going to hop into N8N to build out the rest of the workflow. All right, so we're back in N8N, and this is going to be a very quick build. It's only a 2-node workflow, and we're going to be using the HTTP node to connect N8N to our cal.com event. The reason that we do that is because Cal unfortunately doesn't have any built-in action nodes within N8N. They only have trigger nodes, and they don't offer any type of community node. So we will have to go with the HTTP node. So let's hit this little plus here. We will search for HTTP, and then we will switch the method to post first of all. And for the URL, this is going to be the same for everyone right now. And this is just going to be the V2 booking URL from cal.com, which you can get directly from their documentation or just copy it off my screen. I will also be pasting it down below for you guys to quickly copy and paste. Now, authentication you can leave as none. The send query you can leave not toggled on, but we will need to enable send header. So go ahead and toggle that on. And there's going to be a few that we need to add. The first header parameter that you're going to want to add is going to have a name authorization, and then the value is going to be bearer followed by your API key. This is going to give this node access directly into your cal.com account. So just make sure that you have this spelled out properly. You can use the same API key that we generated for Retell AI or generate a new one if you want. Just make sure that you have a space between the word bearer and your API key. Now, the next header that we're going to need to send is going to be the cal API version. So the name for this is going to be cal-api-version, and the value is going to be 2024-08-13. And this is going to be, again, the same for everyone as of right now. So you can go ahead and just copy that off my screen. And finally, the third header that we're going to need to send is going to be the content type with the value application/JSON. And then we are all done with headers. So let's move on to send the body. We're going to enable this. We will switch the specify body to using JSON. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on expression and expand this for you guys. All right, so as you can see, I've pasted the template on the screen, which has all the required information we need to send from N8N to cal.com to process the booking correctly. Now, before we proceed to add any of the information in, what I would like to do is get some sample data so that we can simply drag and drop the fields that are going to be dynamic. So to do this, all we're going to do is we'll exit this node, we will activate this workflow, and then we will head into Retell AI. So I'm just going to go over to test chat. We'll go to manual chat, and I'm just going to paste a message here that says, I want to book a meeting. Here's my name and email, and just book it anytime on the 23rd. Okay, it's saying they have availability between 9 and 5. Sure, 9 a.m. is fine. All right, so it's asking me to confirm. Yes. Now it should call the tool. There we go. It's all set. So let's head back into N8N. We'll go under executions, and you can see that we received an error because we never finished setting up the HTTP. Totally normal. The reason we wanted to do this is so that we can tap debug an editor and use some sample data. So let's head back into the HTTP node, and we're going to scroll down to the JSON field, and we're going to expand this once more. Now we have all the data to work with. So firstly, for the event type ID, we can just grab that from cal.com itself. That's the 7-digit number in the URL. So go ahead and copy that. We'll head back into N8N and paste it right here. Now for all the dynamic variables, you're going to want to scroll all the way down in your webhook, and we're looking for the arguments tab. So just scroll all the way down and there it is. So we have the conversation summary. We're going to drag that right under notes. Then we have the booking duration. That's going to be this length in minutes. And because it's a number, we don't need the quotation since it's not a string, but you do want to make sure it is before the comma. The next thing we're going to want is a user's email, which can go in the email section between the quotations. Same with the name, we'll drag it under name. And finally, we have the meeting start time. Now, a quick note about the start time. I currently have this set up for EST. That's why it's got the -5. If you're in a different time zone, you're going to want to specify that, but you can always just ask Claude or GPT to fix that up for you within the custom function within Retell AI. So if I go back to that quickly, I'll expand this here. You can see that we set it up so that it's always in this time zone. So you're going to want to make sure you change that before proceeding with any of the N8N stuff. Let's head back into N8N now. The other thing you're going to want to change is this time zone variable. Make sure it matches your specific time zone. Same with the language. Other than that, we have completely set up the HTTP node. So now that we have this set up, the agent is going to be able to provide different values for the length in minute variable that will then be passed to cal.com and treated as the meeting duration. So in this case, we have two different types, a 15-minute or a 30-minute meeting. So depending on the meeting type, Retell AI voice agent is going to send 15 or 30 as the length in minutes. It's going to send to N8N, which is then going to send to cal.com to book that meeting with the right duration. All right, so now that everything is set up with the JSON body, let's go ahead and exit this. We'll exit this. I'm going to unpin this. We'll give it a save and then a refresh to get rid of that little X. Now we're going to head back into Retell AI so that we can give the full system a proper test, see that the agent can book both a 15-minute and a 30-minute duration meeting. All right, we're back in Retell AI, so let's give it a test, and I will pull up my calendar as well.
Hi there, thanks for calling Sixflow Automations. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I want to install a voice agent for my business.
That's great to hear. We specialize in helping businesses like yours implement AI voice agents to automate calls and streamline customer interactions. To get you started, I recommend our 15-minute voice agent consultation. It's a quick, focused call where we'll discuss your needs and how a voice agent can benefit your business. May I have your full name to book the consultation?
Yep, it's Noah Brandes, Brandes.
Thank you, Noah. Could you please provide your email address so we can send you the meeting confirmation?
xyz@example.com.
Thank you, Noah. Just to confirm, your email is xyz@example.com. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. What date and time would you prefer for your 15-minute consultation?
Let's do Tuesday, December 23rd at 3 p.m.
Great choice. To confirm, you'd like to book your 15-minute voice agent consultation on Tuesday, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Is that correct?
Yep.
Thank you, Noah. Your 15-minute voice agent consultation is booked for Tuesday, December 23rd at 3 p.m. You'll receive a meeting confirmation.
All right, as you can see, we have our new meeting on Tuesday, December 23rd at 3 p.m. And if I expand this quickly, no, you can see it is with xyz@example.com. What is going to be YouTube demo, which is the name of our event type ID between Noah Brandes and Noah Brandes, same name. Additional notes, so this is what the agent put as the summary. And then you can also see that, of course, the duration is indeed 15 minutes, like we said. So now let's do one more test. We're going to go back into Retell AI, go through the same process, but this time we're going to ask to book a meeting for an AI consultation, which should be a 30-minute meeting. So I'll go back into Retell AI and we will give it another test.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Sixflow Automations. How can I help you today?
Hey, I'm looking to book a meeting to get an AI consultation for my business.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to help you with that. To make sure you get the most out of your consultation, could you tell me a bit about what you're hoping to achieve with AI automation? Are you mainly interested in voice agents and phone automation, or are you looking to explore broader automation opportunities across your business?
Yeah, I'm looking for broader automation opportunities.
Great, thanks for sharing that. For a comprehensive discussion about automation opportunities, I recommend our 30-minute AI automation strategy call. During this session, we'll explore ways to streamline your workflows, integrate AI solutions, and boost efficiency across your business. To get started, may I have your full name, please?
Yeah, my name is Noah Brandes.
Thank you, Noah. Next, could you please provide the best email address for your meeting confirmation?
xyz@example.com.
Thank you, Noah. Just to confirm, your email address is xyz@example.com. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. What date and time would you prefer for your 30-minute strategy call?
Let's do Wednesday, December 24th at 3 p.m.
Thank you, Noah. Just to confirm, you'd like to book your 30-minute AI automation strategy call on Wednesday, December 24th at 3 p.m. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You're all set, Noah. Your 30-minute AI automation strategy call is booked for Wednesday, December 24th at 3 p.m. You'll receive a meeting.
All right, let me go ahead and end this. And there you have it. You can tell by the size of this input that it is indeed longer. If I go ahead and expand it, we do have a 30-minute meeting. There you have it, guys. The same agent was able to book using the same function, but different meeting durations all in one package. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, hit that like button, drop a sub, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.